Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Kent, the Cali State Job Coach, coming at you. Still down in Mexico. I'm doing this video on the 3rd of April, and the reason I'm doing it is I keep getting a recurring question from folks, from my one-on-one coaching clients, from comments on the YouTube videos, and also via email, that all have a common theme, and that is, how much will I get paid? And it's an important question if you're considering taking a job with the state or really with anybody. But my emails, or my videos rather, focus on getting a job with the state of California. So this is not clickbait. That is going to be on the thumbnail for this video on YouTube. I am going to absolutely answer that question, but I'm also going to do two other things on this video. So I'll answer that basic question with a simple example. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, provide some updated information on the channel, etc. And then for those people who that simple example on how much will I get paid doesn't apply, or for those who are just curious and interested, I'm going to do a more detailed discussion on how much will I get paid, using mechanical engineers for an example, but it applies to lots of different engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, etc. So with that, I'm going to get into the first part, how much will I get paid, using a simple example. AGPA, I like to use Associate Governmental Program Analyst because that's a broad classification that has a good pay, starting pay for folks new to the state. So the primary determinants how much you're going to get paid for any classification are what that specific classification is, so the classification, and secondly, if you're starting that job with or without state experience. And that'll come into play, and we'll talk about it in a second. So going to the first example, right, a great source for talking about pay ranges, starting pay ranges, AGPA, like I said, Associate Governmental Program Analyst. If you look on the Cal Careers website, and hopefully you've watched some of my other videos, you don't even have to have your Cal Careers account yet. You can literally just go on the Cal Careers website, Google it if you don't know what that URL is, but it's pretty simple, and do a job search on Associate Governmental Program Analyst. You'll find that current pay range, and it says code A, or just plain A, next to this pay range, it applies to range A, is 5,518 to 6,907. And so that's basically between 65,000 to start up to 80,000 a year with about 5 years experience. And I'm going to talk about moving from one, they call them steps. It's basically 5 steps you go through to get from the bottom to the top. And it's also important to note that when you see the range A, all you see is range A next to the Associate Governmental Program Analyst pay range. That's, in my experience, that's because they don't offer range B or C or D, etc. And we'll find out more about that in the detailed example, the third piece to this video. But basically, there's range A, and that's because of supply and demand. There's so many people who want to apply for a very good job that starts at 65,000 and moves up to 80,000 in 5 years. There's so many people who want to do that in my opinion, the state has decided they don't need to offer range B or range C. Certainly not in the job opening. So people can move, or people can start with different salaries or get meritorious advancements and stuff like that in grade, but in my opinion, it's very rare. I never saw it, not as an AGPA and not as a staff services manager to a hiring manager in my 6 years with the state. So basically, I'm just talking about the plain vanilla 99.9% example here. So I'm going to hold up the pay range here. You guys can freeze this. It's a tool that I used when I wanted to find out as I got hired as an AGPA, it shows the starting pay $55.18 like we talked about, and it goes up to the maximum is the $69,000 or $6,907. I show the steps basically starting at that $55.18 and then first anniversary, second anniversary, third anniversary, fourth anniversary to the fifth anniversary. I just did this in Excel and I used almost a 5% step increase each time to get to the ending $6,900 and approximately $7. That's per month. So this is if you got a job as an AGPA with coming into the state with no state experience, pay range A. This is the increase, the annual increase you would expect to get to after your first, second, third, fourth, and on your fifth anniversary. This does not include, I hope everybody froze that and you can print it out or write those numbers down or put it in Excel, whatever. Those numbers don't even include cost of living adjustments, COLAs. And so if you get a job as an AGPA, you're basically guaranteed a 5% increase each year for 5 years, plus on top of that, cost of living adjustments. That's why a lot of people that I coach, I highly recommend certainly if they have a college degree, but even with an associate's, with an adequate amount of offsetting real life work experience, it's a good job to start with the state. And then when you're in the state, you can look at other jobs and such. So again, that was the class depends on the pay. For AGPA, that starting pay was $55.18, and whether you have state experience. Most of the people coming in that I coach have no state experience. And if they're gonna start with the AGPA job, basically pay range A is all you are looking at. So we'll talk about those other pay ranges in my more detailed discussion. So before we get on to that detailed discussion, I wanna do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm gonna read an email that I just got from one of the folks who is a channel subscriber. Her name's Jamie in this case. And she says, "Thank you so much. I watched all your videos and bought your book." There is a book available. It's down in the detailed notes for this video. Anyway, I've watched all your videos and bought your book. I took notes and seriously prepared myself. I did 3 interviews and they all gave me conditional offers. So I sometimes call them soft offers. It's basically the offer though. It'll get firmed up or hardened up in a couple of 3 business days generally. So I'm truly grateful, continuing on with it. I'm truly grateful for you and your content. I'll definitely be back for your one-on-one coaching when I am eligible for promotion. So you don't have to wait until you're eligible for promotion. You don't have to wait until you've got your first state job. You might want to get an accelerated path to getting hired or getting promoted, and that's getting some coaching before, not later. So that's an email I wanted to talk about. The book is available. People are buying it. There's going to be a link in the video description below. I encourage folks, especially folks, state of California employees, and especially state of California employees who are HR professionals, to add comments into all of these videos. I'm not an HR professional and I'm not a state HR professional. I'm giving you the best I got based on my experience and based on, I'm a pretty good researcher, so I look stuff up and find information and try to provide that on these videos. If you're an HR professional, especially with classification and pay or benefits experience, please chime in and add value in these comment sections. If you're one of those people who wants some more information support, maybe some one-on-one coaching, you can email me at kentdills@yahoo.com and I'll work with you to schedule a Zoom session, a coaching session. So that's the housekeeping. Hope that wasn't too much. I hope I started with the non-clickbait information on how much somebody should expect to get paid, especially if they're the Associate Governmental Program Analyst classification. I used that example. And now I'm going to use another example. I'm going to use mechanical engineer as the classification in this example because based on, in my humble opinion, supply and demand, the state does hire engineers from the outside who have more experience, and so some of them may qualify for an alternate pay range. You guys can look this up if you go on the Cal Careers website and put in alternate pay ranges. You can find there's basically alternate pay ranges. There's 5 different possibilities of falling into a different range. They're all very specific. I'm using the alternate range criteria number 428, it's called. And that applies to specifically to mechanical engineers. Okay, the alternate pay ranges are A, B, C, and D. Okay, that means you can start at different pay ranges. Okay, or move to different pay ranges after you're with the state. So for range A, for mechanical engineers, this applies to people who don't meet criteria for B or C or D pay ranges. That's what it is, range A. And range A for mechanical engineers, the starting pay is $5,995. I submit to you it moves up in those 5 steps like we talked about for AGPA, ending at $11,230. So that's pay range A. Let's talk about other pay ranges, and these may apply to other classifications besides AGPA that you may or may not be interested in. So pay range B for mechanical engineers is for people with 1 year of state experience performing duties equivalent to mechanical engineer range A, or having 2 years of professional engineering experience performing related engineering duties and a Bachelor of Science from an accredited by the ABET. And engineers, you know what the ABET is better than I. So that's the range B was 1 year of state experience inside the state, or 2 years of professional engineering experience on the outside with a BS accredited by the ABET, or a master's or PhD in an engineering curriculum accredited by the ABET. See how this gets very complicated. For AGPA, this stuff doesn't really apply. So that was an easy example. There's also range C. Range C is if you have 2 years of state experience performing duties equivalent to a mechanical engineer range B, and or 3 years of professional engineering experience related to engineering duties and a BS accredited by the ABET, or a master's and, well, it's really and a master's may be substituted for one of those years of experience, and the PhD may be substituted for 2 years of that experience. See how this is very complicated. That's why I didn't talk about this at the beginning, and some people probably already finished watching this video because it doesn't really apply and it's complicated, but I wanted to address it because some folks come in, they don't want to be just an AGPA, they have engineering degrees and what have you. So what's the difference now in the pay? Okay, if you start at range A, it's the $59.95 to $11,200, right? And this is as of April the 3rd of 2023. These change over time. Certainly every year they change. Okay, range B, it's up about $1,000. It starts at $68.65, but it ends at $85.90 because you'll move to other ranges. Okay. Range C starts about $1,000 above that, $7,940 to $9,934. Range D, I didn't even get into the details for range D, but if you want to know more about that, email me separately. But range D starts at $8,975 and it goes up to $11,230. So they basically all, the highest you can get as an engineer is $11,230 at this point in time, at this date. But the starting pay, you can either start at $59.95 if you're in range A, brand new without a lot of state experience or a lot of outside experience, and it can go up 1,000. B, C, and D. D, you're starting at 89 versus 59. So it can make a big difference, and I certainly can understand why people would want to know what that looks like. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions about other alternate ranges and specific examples, shoot me an email. Otherwise, you can go look, like I said, on the CalPERS, CalCareers website for the alternate ranges. And look to see if you fall into one of these alternate ranges. There's 5 different range descriptions or definitions. They're all A, B, C, usually. Sometimes there's a D, A, B, C, or D. But for the classifications that apply, there's papers that are numbered 01 through 99, 100 through 199, 200 through 299, 300 through 399, and 400 through 499. And like I said, mechanical engineer was in that last group, or the 5th group, numbered 428. So I hope I answered the basic question about how much you get paid. Certainly is the AGPA, which is a really good classification for folks starting without state experience. There were those 2 determinants for how much you'll get paid, what the classification is, and if you're starting with considerable outside or inside experience. So to wrap up and summarize this, you don't have to subscribe to this channel to purchase the book. You just go click the link. The book covers everything from creating your account, discussing why you'd even want to apply for state jobs, all the way through applying, interviewing, getting offered, what the timeline looks like, etc. If this video's been useful for you, I hope you'll click like and subscribe, though. I do hope you do that. If you subscribe, you'll get notified when the next video comes out. Recently passed the 1,000 subscriber, closing in on 1,200 subscribers. The number of subscribers is starting to ramp up a bit. If you know somebody who could benefit from this channel or this book, please refer them to this channel, or tell them how they can buy the book. I've personally coached folks. I know the process works. I've coached folks. I read that testimonial, if you will, from Jamie, the positive feedback. I've coached people who've gotten jobs that span the whole range from lower classifications like office assistant and office technician, all the way up through manager 1, manager 2, up to people who are at the director and CEA level. So buy the book, subscribe to the channel, please share this information. I'm Kent, the Cali State Job Coach, coming at you from the Central Highlands part of Mexico, Lake Chapala, they call it, about an hour south of Guadalajara. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. With that, I'll see you on the next coaching video, or the next coaching session, rather, on the next video. Cali State Job Coach Kent, out.